Welcome back to another exciting edition of the viiince Show. I'm Vince Stefan, and I hope you liked the first two shows. I spent a lot of time on them. It was a lot of editing, a lot of hard work, a lot of sticking it in there and not giving up. So I hope you liked it. I hope it was at least informative in some parts. I'm just starting this. Let me tell you something. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this, so it's a struggle. It's a struggle. It's a little bit more of a struggle than probably I thought at first, but I'm sticking with it. I like it, and I think that as I go along and get better at it, I'll be able to hit you with some really informative stuff and get to the bottom of some things and maybe open some eyes, because that's what I want to do. That's why I don't want to call it news. I want to open your eyes. I'm not trying to tell you how to be. I don't want you to change who you are. But I do want you to open your eyes. Be aware of what's going on. You don't have to be scared of what's going on. You don't have to fear anything, because the fear is how they get you. Once you fear, you'll do just about anything to not feel that feeling. Don't fear. Just tell yourself it's in God's hands. That's what I would do. Last episode we talked about globalism. We talked about Americans waste 40% of the food that they buy. We talked about, what was the last thing that we talked about? Let me look at my notes. Of course it's not on here. Oh, we talked about Brandon Robb, of course, who got sent to the psychiatric ward for saying that 9/11 was an inside job, man. Thank God he's out. A judge issued a notice for him to be released. He got released. He's out. I think that's going to be exciting just to hear what that kid has to say. And God bless him. I'm glad he's out. Anyway, like I said, this is Vince Stefan. This is the viiince Show. I want to change it up every once in a while. We're going to get into a little bit of regular news, mainstream news, and just to see what all the hoopla is about. See what everybody's talking about right now. There's a big hurricane down in the Gulf area. They're saying it's Katrina 2. It's happening at about the same time. Katrina happened August 29th. It is August 27th. So there's a little bit of parallels to that. But let's see what they say. Isaac poised for Gulf hit on Katrina date. Up to 20 inches of rain expected. Drought-ravaged states also could see rain. Isaac is soon to become a hurricane soon, forecasters say. It's basically going to land almost in the same area that Katrina did. Coincidence? Let's see what else is in the news. GOP sticks to planned Obama bashing. What's new? It's politics as usual. I got an idea for a cartoon of both, Romney's head and Obama's head sitting on the edge of a cliff. And some people going into Obama's open mouth, some people going into Romney's open mouth, but inevitably they all fall off the cliff. Yeah, that's pretty much what politics is about. What about the earthquake? The quake swarm shakes Southern California. There was, 300 earthquakes. Really far under the ground in California, but God, the seismic activity down there has to alert someone. If I lived in Southern California, I just wouldn't be like, man, there's 300 earthquakes going on underground. Whoa, can I get a chorito? I'd be like, what the hell is going on? Why is there this many earthquakes going on underground? What's happening? What does this mean? I would want to know. Even if it didn't mean anything, I would want to know what it meant. But, you know, of course, nobody cares what it meant because, that would be one of the biggest stories that I was very, very shocked when I seen that. That's really all of the big stories. The other things are hurricane preparation checklists, and like anybody who lives in that area doesn't know how to prepare for a hurricane. Like somebody's going to go, hey, check the CNN hurricane checklist so we can know what to do in case of a hurricane. Let's see, bill to fire accused teacher fails. High-speed worn parts led to deadly Reno air crashes. If there isn't a air race crash at an air show, then what's the point of going to an air show? There's always a air show crash. Anytime you go to an air show. Let's see, American Taliban, bullcrap. You know, news is bullcrap. Mainstream news is bullcrap. They feed y'all guys so much crap. Storm surges up to 12 feet predicted. Yeah. Anyway, I can't even read that crap. It's just garbage. Garbage. There's so much more stuff going on right now, and that's the garbage that they give you so you can watch their piddly little shows. You know, I don't get me wrong, I like TV shows, but man, they don't have your best interest in mind. Just like, you know. Like I said, this is the viiince show. We're going to get right into it. Today we're going to be talking about a little bit of raw foods. And I'm not talking about raw meat or anything like that. I'm talking about farmers who produce food for the masses, not just for himself. Did you know that there's a government crackdown on raw food? What was it? 2 years ago, a company called Rawson Foods got raided like a jillion times. I don't even think they're in business anymore. What else happened? Three Amish farmers last year around this time in August were arrested for selling raw foods, raw milk. A man this August was arrested. Maybe it was in July, maybe it was even in January. I don't know. But this year, a man in California was arrested for selling raw milk. And did you know that it is illegal to take raw food over the state line? When factory farming, when big corporations can mass produce chickens, and some of them don't even have beaks or legs, or got 5 legs and 2 beaks, you know. But just ask yourself this question: well, is it because the food's not regulated, or is it because somebody has their hand in the FDA's pocket? And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about crackdowns on other things too, and we're going to talk about good old subliminal messages, messages in advertising, messages in music, messages in TV, and what this means for you. Are you susceptible to subliminal messages? We're going to talk about that, and just to let you know, you are. So those are a few topics that we're going to go over today, just in case you didn't know. Okay, we're going to talk about raw foods first. Now, The government's cracking down on raw foods. The feds are cracking down on Amish raw foods. Trafficking of raw foods across state lines is a federal offense. That's crazy to me. Like, I guess the story was a man sells raw milk, and a lady was taking it across state lines, and she couldn't take it. You know, I guess they used her as a pawn to get this guy who was selling raw foods and raided his farm, and I think he is in jail right now. I also heard a story that this man was it was raining, and this man was capturing water for the pond in his yard, so the animals can come drink from it, and just have a little cycle of life going from his yard. That's illegal. Did you know that was illegal, to have a pond in your yard? I'll do a little update on that and tell you why it's legal, but I didn't even mean to talk about that. That wasn't on the books today, but man, he's in jail right now too. He has to serve 30 days for having a pond in his yard from rainwater. I think they trumped it up. It was stealing. It was. I mean, when you look at the charge, if you were to tell somebody, short but sweet, make a long story short, you basically say he was stealing water. And they're not only cracking down on raw food sales, they're cracking down on everything. They're cracking down on lemonade stands. The girl in Georgia was having a lemonade sale at her house, and an officer came by and shut it down. Shut down her lemonade stand. Said she needed a business permit to operate a lemonade stand. She either needs to pay $50 a day or $480 a month or whatever it was, or a year, to have a business permit to operate a lemonade stand. A lemonade stand for a little girl. You know what I would have done if I was that story pisses me off. If I was that little girl's parent, I would have not only got her that business permit, but after I got the permit to sell goods in my front yard, I would have, we would have had a bake sale, or to bake some biscuits and put them out there. Just any old thing. Meatloaf. We would have had a meatloaf sale. Just any old kind of thing. My God. And it doesn't stop there. A kid in Maryland was having and you know what the little girl was raising money for? I mean, this is totally sinister. What she was raising money for. You're gonna hate this little girl. She was raising money to go to a local water park. Can you believe her? Who does this girl think she is? Bill Gates? If I was that officer, I would have kicked the lemonade stand over and drunk all her lemonade and then kicked it over. And then told her lemonade was nasty. Okay, well, this kid in Maryland, I definitely wouldn't have done that. I would have done the first thing I said about, the mom and dad baking her cookies and meatloaf and stuff and putting that out there and just everything. Would have had a block party. Okay, this girl would have just ran this block party. You got a permit to sell this stuff? Yeah, I got it right here. Okay, now go solve some crimes. Oh wait, you don't solve crimes because you're out here messing with little girls trying to raise money to go to a water park. In Maryland, this kid got a $500 fine for operating a lemonade stand without a permit. $500 fine. Wow. I can just imagine the cop. You out here again, selling your lemonade? How do you approach a kid about something like that? You're a grown man. How do you approach a kid about it? Did you get orders from Orders from your captain. Yeah, go ahead, take down that lemonade stand. They can't have that. We can't. They're not in my neighborhood. Not in my neighborhood. Like, how do you explain that? It is awful. It was completely awful. It's gotten to the point where we're kicking kids' lemonade stands down, giving them fines. Come on. Come on! Come on. Come on! Really? That's cool to you? If that's cool to you, just turn this video off. Turn this video off if that's cool. Turn it off. Turn it off! It's a shame. It's a shame. That story's coming from care2.com. A great story. Great story. I was very, very, very pissed off when I read that. I knew that I was going to cover it in this show. And let's talk a little bit about factory farming. I'm trying to make this segment short but sweet, just so you can then take this information and be mad yourself. Let's see. Mass-produced food is the most prominent thing. You go to your local big box store, to the grocery area. You're not getting farm fresh food. Okay, you're not getting that. You need to, go to your butcher shop, go to your farmer's market. If you want farm fresh food, you go to those places. You buy chicken out of a big box retail store. You're getting the chicken with 2 beaks. You're getting the chicken that eats its own defecation. You're eating chicken that, is raised in a unsanitary environment. The animals' diets are designed to boost the most production and to lower costs. So you're eating. When it says you're eating a young chicken, that means that they boost this chicken up with so much genetically modified stuff and hormone-induced food that this chicken got way big before its time, and it's just unnaturally big. And then they slaughter it, and there you go. There's your chicken. Less cost. That means the efficiency time. The longer they have to raise this chicken, the more it's going to cost for them. So when they sell young chickens, which most chickens are, they're going to sell it young because they want it out of there as quick as possible, and the next chicken in the place, or the next cow in place, or the next pig in place. It happens with everything. Genetically modified food is everywhere. The government initiates the price of grain. So when you're eating, when you get meat, and you're eating a grain-fed cow, then they're getting the bottom of the barrel of grain because the government is making it as efficient as possible. Efficiency is kind of like that one thing that I was talking about last week with capitalism and water. Efficiency is good to a point, but there's a point when efficiency is bad. You don't want to be too efficient because then you lose sight of things. And here's why. Because some of the grain contains garbage. You're going to trip out. But look it up yourself. If you don't believe me, look it up yourself. Some of the feed contains garbage, stale cookies, poultry manure, chewing gum, and restaurant waste. Not old restaurant food, but restaurant waste, which is so general it could be anything. And then switching a cud-chewing animal's diet from grass to grain is not a good thing. Cud-chewing animals, ruminant animals, they need to eat grass. They need it. They need it for their digestive system. Eating grain doesn't do anything for their digestive system. That's why they chew. That's why they chew their cud. Animals like sheep, bison, goats, dairy cows, they need to do that. When a cow switches from grain to grass, or from grass to grain, it can be inflicted with a number of diseases, and the most common is subacute acidosis. And subacute acidosis makes a cow kick at its belly. or any cud chewing animal, kick at its own stomach and go off its feed and eat dirt. And not to mention that, but it's extremely painful for the animal. So just think, you know, do you think that the FDA is right for outlawing and cracking down on raw foods and lemonade stands when, you know, mass production corporation of meat that we eat and food that we eat and chemically treated corn that we eat that you could get from the biggest big box store on the planet is putting money in their pocket so they can get away with these unsanitary, unhealthy, uncredible things that they do, practices that they do with the meat that we eat, the vegetables that we eat, genetically modified, full of MSG, full of preservatives. And don't let me get into what is in diet soda. I love diet soda because I can't drink regular soda. It tastes like syrup to me. But I'd rather drink that than diet soda because aspartame is in diet soda. If you don't know what aspartame is, look it up. Look up what aspartame is. I swear, if you drink diet soda again, you want to die. You want to. This is the Vince Show. And last but not least, we are going to talk about subliminal messages in media. You know, media, music, television, just any old thing, your news broadcast, your advertisements. We're going to talk about it. Do you believe that you are being swayed by subliminal messages? Do you believe that you can be swayed by subliminals? Mm-hmm. Well, you already have been. You already have been. In one way or another, I have been. I've been, and I'm aware of them. So I know you have. I'm just kidding. I don't know you, but I'm pretty sure that you have. Everybody has been everybody's susceptible to subliminal messages, and so I'm pretty sure you have been swayed by them. And you know, you're not going to notice. You know, if somebody says, you know, I have never been swayed by subliminal messages. Well, it's not going to be it's not going to be visible to your conscious. You know, it's a subconscious infiltration of information that comes to the forefront when you desire or want something. To be put in, to paraphrase the definition, you know, when the powers that be want to either further dull your senses or make you more want you to buy something, or both. To broaden the gap between the poor and the rich, of course, because that's what they want. They spend a lot of money doing it. They spend a lot of money in advertising. They'll spend a lot of money in making a product that the general populace is going to throw a fit over. They love it so much. You know, take a kid's iPod away. He'll throw a fit. You know what I mean? They did this one thing where, you know, a kid's watching TV. They say, you know, some kids watch TV, you turn that TV off and they go bananas. You know what I mean? I don't know. I've probably seen that on a comedy show, but it's true. It is true. We are so dulled down that those things entertain us to the point to where we don't want to lose them. I mean, I know that subliminal messages have gotten me. My phone is attached to, it is my cancer. It is attached to me. You know, it's taken me a while to get used to not having my phone. And a couple people know that, you know, they could vouch for that, you know, but, you know, if my phone died today, I'd be a little sore because I wouldn't be able to instantly be on the internet, you know, to get this fine research that I get for you. But back in the day, I would have been destroyed if my phone if I had lost my phone. It would have felt like somebody jabbed a knife in my heart and twisted it and then turned it and then just stuck the whole entire knife inside of my chest. It's not like that anymore, you know. But they spend lots and lots of money to make you buy their stuff. I mean, advertising and hiring the best people to advertise and hiring the best people to make shows that you love, hiring the best people to make technology that you love. Basically, they're trying to buy your mind, you know. And the messages in television, you know, that's why they call it programming. You know, they call it programming and programs. You know, it's not because the shows are programs, it's because that's what they're doing to you. They are programming you, okay? You know, and the advertisements, they gear the advertisements to the certain demographic that you're programmed to. You know, they want you to not care about the real significant affairs. And the more you don't care, the more then your kids won't care, and the more their kids won't care. And generations upon generations of not caring will separate us from them. You know, and you know, I mean, it's everywhere. Advertising is everywhere, and subliminal messages are everywhere, and the gap just broadens. And they'll do anything, and they try to get that demographic any kind of way. When you go to a store, you get a membership or whatever, and you know, and they say, oh, well, you're going to get 10% off. Well, you're not buying, and you give them, you know, your name, your email address, your zip code, your birthday, you know, last time you were in the store, how frequently you shop. You're not being rewarded for the frequency of your being there. You're being paid to have your personal information exploited. You know, they're not taking your information and going, oh, well, we're going to be able to send this person newsletters. Somebody's in a board meeting, or somebody's in some data office somewhere taking this information and gathering it with all the other information and finding out what people your age like and what people, you know, who are the more frequent shoppers and what do those people like, because we're going to make sure that those people shop here all the time. We're going to make sure we know what to get these people. We're going to try to figure out what these people are, how we can dull them down some more, and how we can make them buy our stuff. And lots of times it's just general capitalism. You know, it's just, you know, people want to kind of track who their best customers are, and that's fine, but a lot of times it isn't. It's just, it gets sold to a bigger pool, because once you give that information out to a company, you give it away frivolously, then they're going to take it and they're going to use it against you. Ultimately. It's true. You know? And, you know, some people are like, oh, what are you scared? You know, what do you got to hide? Da, 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 blah, blah, blah. But, you know, people are confused being aware of things with being intimidated by or offended or afraid of things. But, you know, for some reason being mindless is cool nowadays, and it's not. It's not cool to be mindless. It's not cool to not be aware of things. It's not cool to not talk about issues, you know. There's things going on in this world that we need to be aware of. At least we need to let them know that we're aware of it. We know you're doing this. You know, people need to be held to some sort of integrity, especially when they're in places of authority that affect your life. You know, you're an absolute fool if you don't think there's an agenda, whether it's good or bad or otherwise in some weird gray area. If you think that things are just happening, you're a fool. There's no other way to put it. You're a fool. Be aware of what's going on. I don't want to ramble too much about you being aware or me being aware or anyone being aware, and I may be completely wrong. And if I'm completely wrong, then I'm completely wrong. But this is Vince Stefan. This is the Vince Show. Hopefully I can elaborate a little bit more on this subject. I'm doing research now for the 4th show, which I have not written yet, which is surprising. Usually I'd be on like the 5th or 6th one right now, but well, I wouldn't say usually, but relatively, if you compare it from the first 3 shows that I did, you know, including this one. Episodes that I did, you know, I've been writing these things pretty quickly, but I want to get people involved. I want to get out there and do reports on out in the area that I live in to see what other people's opinions on things are. So hopefully I'll have a segment like that in my next show. But until then, keep your mind open. Have a good one.